Hey guys, a couple of years ago, I started reflecting, as most of us do when we turn 50, and I started to think about, all the years many of us Gen Xers thought about, being the responsible one, and how many of us Gen Xers have raised ourselves, took care of our siblings, always told to be the responsible one to get an education, to get a job, get married, start a family, put aside our personal happiness and dreams so that we can follow this plan. This plan that, for me, is the plan that my parents have and the expectations of what society had for us. And a lot of us went about this quietly without complaints. We spent our time taking care of others' needs while brushing ours aside. Now, many of us, or most of us, are in our 50s, and we should be thinking about retirement and enjoying the fruits of our hard work. But now we're faced with, taking care of our aging parents. For many of us who have kids, adult kids, we're taking care of them as well because they can't afford to leave the house. And I think the questions we start asking ourselves, I know for me I did, is have I wasted my life living for others? Have I lived enough? Am I successful enough compared to my peers? I know that many of us shouldn't compare ourselves, but it's hard not to, when you reflect back to all the dreams that you had coming out of school. And I think the other question we ask is, did I do the things that bring me joy instead of making others happy first? And I think another big question is, should I have started sooner? Because many of us feel behind in life. And, maybe many of us felt like something was always a little bit off, that we weren't living authentically, but we probably just ignored the feeling and just kept going. Or maybe some of us are saying, I'm 50 now and it's really too late to become the person I've always wanted to become. And if you're this person, I think this video is for you, because in today's video, I want to talk about how to stop asking for permission to live your life after 50. As a young kid, I was always told to be the responsible one. And I was always asking for permission from my parents to do things. And the answer, probably 99% of the time, was no. There was no explanation, just because they said so. And I didn't realize this, but this hearing no carried on into my adult life. And I always felt like I had to get permission to live my life. And it wasn't only that, it was, could be work, could be many things. But I realized that I wanted approval so badly that when I didn't get it from someone, I felt guilty or ashamed. And at times I knew that made me unhappy, because I knew I wasn't living my life authentically. And the question became, how is my life going to end up? And I asked myself the question, is this what I want in my life? And, is this the way I'm going to go out? Because all I was doing was making other people happy while I lived in misery. And I got to a point where I was actually tired of really, smiling in the family photos and in public to portray that everything in life was just amazing. And luckily for me, at age 35, I made a firm decision that I was going to reinvent myself by quitting my secure government job to become a martial arts instructor. And for a lot of people, that would be a scary decision because I had family members who didn't agree with my decision. So the pressure was really, I guess, high for me to make something of my career as a martial arts instructor because it's not a traditional path that many people take. And it's almost like saying that you're going to become an actor in Hollywood. I mean, most people would dismiss you as a dreamer. But I knew that I need to stop. I need to start breaking this pattern of being controlled by my parents and by other people, and in some ways by society and their expectations of me. But that was not the end. As the years went by, I noticed patterns from my upbringing that still continued to control my decisions without even noticing. It's almost like an invisible hand was over me the entire time. So I'm sure many of you can relate to that feeling of having that invisible hand kind of control you without even knowing. So I continued to work long hours, for going vacations, and all this to become financially independent because that's what I was taught to do. And to tell you the truth, I didn't think anything of it because when you're growing up poor, you want to have some stability in your life. But then I turned 50, and I have to tell you that all changed after, because I have friends that start to pass away, and I start to see my parents get older and start to need care. I start to notice change in my own health. My eyesight, my energy level wasn't as high, and start getting that graying hair, and the wrinkles start to, be more prominent on my face. And suddenly, it dawned on me that, I was running out of time. And for the first time in my life, I can see the finish line. So I started doing an inventory of my life that spanned 50, not 50, but 5 decades. And I asked myself this very question is, have I accomplished enough? Am I happy and satisfied? Have I done all the things I said I would do? And despite this, I probably, and probably many of you watching here today, is that I thought about it, but I didn't really take action. I kind of postponed the thoughts and said, it's okay. I always have tomorrow. And tomorrow became the next day. And I did that, and then suddenly I got sick. I got a health scare, and my parents, I noticed they stopped traveling because physically they weren't able to anymore. So for many of us, I think many of us in our 50s, when we come to that revelation, we think that it's too late to change course. It's too late to reinvent ourselves, to do something new and exciting. But I recently discovered that although our physical and cognitive decline is more noticeable in our 50s, what we do have and what we could take advantage of is our vast years of wisdom and experience that we gain from life, and we gain from working in our profession. And the only thing that's really stopping us, and was stopping me, was to give ourselves permission finally to live and to do the things that we want, whether it's travel, whether it's to make new friends, whether it's to learn something new or start a new business or a different career. Any of those are all possible. And this is all possible if we give ourselves permission and to stop being stuck in fear and wanting the approval or waiting for the approval from others. And for me, I realized I have always wanted to travel, but I always had this fear of spending money, which was quite strange because you figure that you want to make be financially independent so that you can go and do the things that you want, but then you end up being handcuffed by it. So, I mean, it's understandable for me. I think for a lot of people that grew up with nothing, these financial struggles can really, I guess, have you develop that mindset. So, the past 2 years, I went traveling without guilt. I gave myself the permission to travel. I stayed in some places for sometimes a month without feeling guilty. And I have to tell you, the experience was quite liberating. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty about spending money to enjoy myself. And I learned so much just staying in some of these areas, the destinations I traveled to, and just learn more about the locals and learn a lot about myself and what I liked as a person. And I'm hoping that many of you who are watching this video today will do the same. If you don't like to travel, maybe it's other things that you like to do. But I think the main thing I want to get here is that even though we're 50 or older and getting on in age, it's not all doom and gloom, right? And I want to share with you 3 questions that really helped me get out of this pattern of thinking and allow me to go on this journey of reinvention. So the first one is stop denying that you're getting old. And I know it's hard not to. I think many of us, for myself, I was like, no, this can't be happening to me, right? And I started thinking about, the good old days. But it's coming, whether you like it or not. It's happening. It's just part of life. And but if you keep denying that you're getting older, you're just going to get more frustrated. You're going to get more disappointed, and you're going to end up being depressed, right? So the second thing is to stop giving into aging and getting depressed about everything in our 50s and 80s is all, downhill and bad. I mean, it's hard not to, because I was just in the old folks home visiting my father-in-law the other day, and I saw all these people, just kind of withering away, and they're not even, doesn't seem like they're even present. But it doesn't mean that I sit back and that has to be me. So I make sure that I eat well. I really take care of myself. I exercise and everything and whatever happens, right? But at least I'm going to try to control some aspect of it, and hopefully I can end up, by the time I go, that I'm fairly healthy and independent. And the third one is, start giving yourself some credit for all the skills and strengths that you acquired over the years and over the decades. Because sometimes I see the comments and I see a lot of people say it's too late. My life is over, and I never got to become the success that I want to be. And I think you have to give yourself a lot more credit than that, because I read recently somewhere about people who were able to make the transition from their career onto the second half of their life. And for many of us, yes, our cognitive skills decline. I mean, for myself, my physical skills decline as a martial artist. But the experience and wisdom that you have, you can use that and leverage it for your next career, whatever you want to do, and make give your life some value and meaning. Because for myself, I may no longer be a competitor anymore, and sometimes being a gray hair instructor, some people like it, but for maybe the younger students who compete, maybe they might see me as outdated, right, and not being cool anymore. That's okay. But I was able to take those skills of running a business, martial arts business, and other businesses, to using them to teach online, to start a YouTube channel, to build a business, that's outside of the martial arts. And it doesn't have to be, for me, it doesn't have to be martial arts. I mean, it could be anything. It could be, learning how to market and stuff like that, teaching people how to market. And I think that's one of the most rewarding things that one can do, is to pass on their knowledge and experience to others. So I want to ask all of you today is, have you ever caught yourself thinking that it's too late to reinvent yourself or reinvent your life after 50? And what is the one thing that you keep telling yourself that you're going to start one day, but don't end up doing it? What's holding you back? And when was the last time that you did something that you wanted to do, not something that your family or others expect you or want you to do? I'm interested in hearing from you. I try to read every comment and respond to them. And your comments really inspire me. I love hearing the stories from people from around the world. And if you like this video, please feel free to like, share, or subscribe. And feel free to check out my next video. And I'll talk to you next time. Take care. Bye for now.